Okay, it's time to confirm all of the different export settings and formats that I've used. I'm going through now to check those to see how they upload to Facebook. So I have a 4K MP4 H.264 2048 by 1556. I'm gonna go get some coffee and we'll be back. Oh, this is so delicious. Ugh. Okay, so, long story short, I've tried so many different types of codecs, formats, everything for export. Tried mixing and matching, and really what I come up with is simple. Um, Straight 4K, using a simple QuickTime or MP4, and then keeping the resolution the same. I'll go ahead and show you in DaVinci kind of a short, quick rundown of what I was experiencing and what I set everything to, and a couple of those good things. Okay, so here's DaVinci Resolve. Here's my timeline. And in case you're wondering why I sound different now, it's because uh, in order to do a voiceover in this screen capture, I have to use a mic for the computer, and the one I have happens to be a gaming headset, so it's not the same mic that I used shooting the video going through the GoPro, just in case you're wondering. So, what I would do is I would drop my video in here, come back up here to playback, go to proxy mode, hit half, come over to preferences, go through a couple of these settings. I didn't change much here, but I did come into memory and GPU. Wasn't sure what to run with this here at memory, so I just left that, and I came over to GPU, being that this, to utilize the GPU, I switched this to CUDA core and hit manual to make sure that, of course, it's running the only GPU that I have in my system. But this was set to auto, and yes, this program is supposed to utilize or like using GPU more than CPU, so I wanted to make sure that if it was going to utilize the acceleration in the GPU, that I had it set for that, and it should, because I set that. Then I would come down here, master settings, I'd keep the timeline resolution the same, which I could change that if I really wanted to, but it don't. And monitoring format, HD 1080. I would take this from 10 to 8, and then come down here where it says optimize media and render cache, and do optimize media resolution half. And then I really wouldn't change much else in here either. You could go through it and take a look if you wanted to. Capture. Really didn't change much else, and then I would go ahead and hit save. So, here's what here's my problem as a noob. Without knowing any of this, changing any of these settings to try to help. Oh, well, and then of course, once I did all that, I would right click here and then hit optimize media. That would help too. Um, so anyways, being a noob, I would come down and I would drop all of this in here and then just start throwing in edits. Like right here, these are simple tiles. They don't usually take up much, but all of these down here are 3D and 2D, and they will take a lot more power to play back. Well, I guess I wouldn't say that, but for example, this one here is a 3D that I threw in there, and you'll notice these two are like not rounded off at the corners like this one is. This one is one of these 3Ds here. But it doesn't have a little line above them either. So when you put a 3D in, this will come out red. So the problem I was having is not noticing that these 3Ds needed to render. I was throwing in these edits, and then I would go back and try to play them to make sure that it's something that I liked and something that I wanted to use, and it was to my liking, whatever. And then I would play, and the playback would just be so crappy and choppy. So when you let these render, they play back so much smoother.
2040.
So, and I'll show you the export settings that I go through here in DaVinci too. So what I do is I'll come up here and, you could go through and play with these, but being that I usually am doing YouTube videos, I'll come up here and do 2160p, then I'll name my video, we'll just say, I don't know, I figured it out. And then I'll pick my, place where I want to save it, and I've got an edited videos here, which, by the way, I've got tons here, but these are all just like test clips and what I've used for like random experimenting with different export formats and codecs. So anyways, you could click and do QuickTime, and then run down here and pick whatever works for you. I've found that you can do MPEG, which is okay. I have not been able to get GoPro Cineform to work. A few of these others I haven't really experimented with, so I just leave those alone. But it's usually QuickTime 624. Then I come down here. You can hit network optimization if you want, but I keep the resolution the same. You can keep it at restricted if you want to, or hit automatic. I don't find that it really makes a difference. But I'm guessing that this is restricted to whatever it puts in here. But if rendering time, it's got to adjust some automatic, it'll adjust that accordingly. Then I come down here and I hit optimize media. Depending on the file, sometimes I put in file sizing and highest quality. Then I just hit render and it pops up over here. Then I hit start, and that's that. So that's it for DaVinci and what I wanted to show you. But the main thing is it's just a little easier to show it to you here than try to explain it, especially if you've never used DaVinci and you're just getting into video editing. You would look at me and say, what the hell is this guy talking about?
But so anyway, with all of that, I want to apologize for making such a long video. I know it's really boring. You're probably not even still watching this, but being somebody that's new and done a lot of troubleshooting and reading and research and experimenting, not knowing what the heck is going on, I wanted to try to cover this as much as I could in detail and even show you the program and the problem that I was having, so that if you're new to video editing and trying to get into all this, hopefully it would help you out so you don't have to go through all the same stuff that I did. So I hope that helped. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Subscribe, because now that I've got all this figured out, I'm gonna start taking a lot more videos, more exciting, a lot more fun, funny, whatever. But they're not gonna be boring anymore, I'll tell you that. Thanks for watching.